What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Couple on Fire podcast. On today's episode, we're going to talk all about decluttering and how that can change your life. When's that coming up?
Right now.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Couple on Fire podcast. This podcast is for couples, for marriages, and for families within the Christian community. We exist to help break the stigma that happens within the Christian community. We're talking about divorce, we're talking about addiction, and we're talking about so much more. We believe that all this is possible in this life strictly based on the power of Jesus Christ and his ability to restore us fully. Let's dive in. What is up, everybody? Welcome to today's show. Hey, if you've never been here before, we want to welcome you. I am one of your hosts, Josh, and I'm here with the amazing, beautiful, more intelligent than anyone I've ever met in my life, Miss Christy.
Hi, honey.
How are you?
That was nice.
That's nice. It's true.
I'm good.
All right. Got anything on top of your mind today?
Nope.
No. Did you know we were going to do our podcast today?
Yeah.
Did you know I was going to ask that question?
I don't think about it.
Oh, okay.
Like literally, you ask every single week, and I don't.
You never remember.
Nope. Until you're about to ask, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna ask me.
She's kind of like living with Dory sometimes. It's kind of amazing. Like, I would beg to, like, if you are on this right now, okay, and you can comment on this, whether it's on the replay or live, like, let me know, like, do you or your spouse have a memory that, like, so much that they lose their phone in their own pocket? So Christy loses her phone at home on average probably a half dozen times per evening.
Yeah.
Per evening, like, where's my phone? I don't know my phone. Luckily, she has an Apple Watch.
Fog is real.
I don't know if you can call that brain fog. I don't think it's a fog problem.
Look up, perimenopause, PCOS, Hashimoto's. Like, look up. I have brain fog like times 3.
I don't know if that's what it is, because you're very clear on things you want to remember. Like, you can remember something from 1997, like February 4th of like 1997. Like, you have a memory like that.
No,
but you'll forget your phone.
Yeah, but what's frustrating is, like, when I'm
anything.
talking to people, sometimes I forget words. Like, that's what brain fog is. Like, that's
normal.
real.
I do that too.
I'm just like, the thing. And I can't think of it all the time, though, like 4 or 5 times per sentence.
Anyway,
it's real.
It's
brain
so
fog.
Okay. So maybe we need an episode on brain fog and enlighten us all on what brain fog is. So.
I agree with that. I think
she'll forget. Don't worry about it. She won't remember. She has selective memory. Man, that is more true than you know. That is so true. It's called selective brain fog is probably what we would classify it as. So tonight we really want to talk about something that's relevant to us right now, right? So we were kind of deciding on, like, what are we going to do our episode on this week? What should we do it on? And something that Christy is so excited about this. It's kind of mind-blowing, okay?
I get like super, like, I'm like, I got to create a list, and I just have to keep talking about it until it's all done.
This is her personality. Like, she just won't quit talking about it. I mean, it's just very simple things we have going on. She feels like the needle is being moved all the way.
I do.
We were just talking about it. So we're talking about declutter, right? So that's really what this whole, like, we're not trying to be cryptic. So it's about decluttering. And so usually twice a year, we will
once or twice, yeah.
Yeah, well, once or twice a year. But we'll get into a mode where, like, okay, it's time to kind of declutter.
Get in a mode.
Well, I help?
And I pull him along, yes.
Yeah, I don't mind, though. Like, I'm very neat and tidy about the things that I have, and, like, I'm just very particular about my stuff, and Christy is about certain spaces. And I wouldn't say that we're cluttery people, but we do have certain areas in our home that does feel like it gets cluttered frequently. So, but
it's mainly
overall,
him.
Whoa.
So.
Whoa. If we go look at all the stuff that's in these areas, 90% of it is your stuff.
Yeah, let me explain why.
Here we go.
So
here it's getting real. Here it comes. It's my fault.
So we have a catch-all when you first walk in our house. In our kitchen, there is a table that's there. And that is the catch-all. No,
you're talking
it's
about
a
the
table, the high top table.
Oh.
That's the catch-all for everything when you come in.
No.
Things get left there
until
I am going to put them in their appropriate spot.
Which is twice a year.
But what happens
2 times a year
is Josh, that it's in the kitchen area, which is mostly his area. He gets sick of seeing them sit there. So then he'll take the things and he'll put them places. And we have a few designated drop-off places that Josh places things. Like the office, the where our dining room table used to be and where the microwave used to
I
be.
wish I could carry the camera and show everybody.
No, it's my stuff, but you drop them off in the
I
places.
have to because.
And then what? Let me finish.
Oh, okay.
So then what happens is they're not in my drop off area. And so those areas just get build up until I'm like, we're spring cleaning the whole house because now I don't know what's where and things have to get put in the appropriate designated areas. So we have to clean everything.
Okay. So that's a reason to do spring cleaning because she just told you that she doesn't know where things are. Yeah. They're usually in one of two places. Okay. So she tries to put everything in my area. Right, she wants all
until
of her
I
stuff.
decide I'm ready to put it away.
Right, which is which is not the right place because when we have life group and we have all these things at our house, like that's
It's
where
our
the food
house.
goes.
They can deal with it.
I mean, no, where's the food gonna go?
Oh, the Florida room. That's the other drop off area. Florida room,
right,
where the microwave used to be. Office.
So you can see, right? So this is a big contention. So this is probably the same way in your home too. So usually once or twice a year, we get into a decluttering. We do, and we declutter the house, right, to some degree. So. Christy always thinks that we need a dumpster, like always thinks we need a dumpster. We never need a dumpster. Okay. It's usually a couple bins full of stuff like we throw out. It's never a dumpster size worth of stuff because we're not cluttery people, but there is something that has to be said. I mean, you can see her excitement over it about being decluttered, about uncluttering things. And I actually say, like I've heard this before. I wish I would look this up before we got on today because that just came to me. But there is a quote or there is scientific research that says that your house and your car, if it's cluttered, it's a representation of how you are on the inside. And I believe that to be true. You feel disorganized. You feel like a hot mess. You feel like
I feel like I can't relax while I'm at home.
Unrelaxed and like all these things, right? And so like a lot, I've talked about this at Celebrate Recovery before, and I've had people leave, right? And then the next week come back and be like, I actually went and I cleaned out my car and like I did all these things and I feel so much better. We do. And those are usually common things where it's easy to junk up our cars. Neither Christy and I, neither one of us have cluttered cars. Like we're very particular about that.
I'm going to try to look up the quote while you're talking.
Yeah, I thought it was just some type of scientific something that I've read something. Anyway, so today we really want to talk about decluttering, right? For a better life. Like it's an honest to goodness truth. If we learn how to declutter specific areas of our lives, that it's going to make a difference in ourselves on the inside. And so this has to do not just with decluttering specific areas, but in a totality in a decluttering sense. So
okay, but
4 points I want to say about that.
Yeah, but can I talk about what we've done? That's the exciting part.
This is the exciting part to Christy, right? Nobody cares what we've done. I mean, maybe you think they care. Nobody cares that we've decluttered some stuff in our house. Share it, okay? If you think they care.
You asked me what's on my mind.
You said you passed on it. You forgot.
No. So
Okay.
So it's super fun
Here we go.
because it's not just about tossing stuff out. It's about organizing too. So it's like I take it and I lump room by room by room. You can't get it all done in a day, people. Okay. Because you have to decide throwaway piles. Then like this pile that's in this room is actually supposed to go into a different room to get put away, things like that. And we organize it all and we take everything to the designated spots or we throw stuff away. And it is so like freeing. It's so freeing. And we've only done 3 rooms, technically 3 rooms in our house. And we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more places to go.
We've worked maybe a total of 4 hours, maybe 5 hours total on everything so far.
Yeah.
So really it's kind of probably take us a full work day really to declutter the entire house, like all of it, not including our garage. Like our garage needs to be
that's what
decluttered.
I'm including in the 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I would say our house.
We need 2 days.
A good full work. Yeah. 2 work days would declutter everything.
Man, and I'm like pumped about it. I want to stay up all night to do it. Like I'm like pumped.
She
like,
keeps talking about it. She's like, okay, what do we have to? Let's reevaluate what rooms we need to do again.
Nothing else can continue until this is done.
It doesn't even.
I had to create a list on my phone right before because I just keep talking about it.
It's fine. Just put it on the calendar. These are the rooms we're working on tomorrow or the next day. It's fine. It's fine. It's not even a big deal.
But
it's a big deal to her, and I think that's what it goes to show how important some of this stuff can be internally. Right? So we want to discuss a few things. So first off, leave us in the comments. Let us know in the comments right now. Like, are you a person, and be honest, okay? Come on. be honest. Are you someone that enjoys decluttering, or you're somebody that is just like, that is a task that I just don't enjoy doing? Because I'm curious. I want to know.
Oh man, I love it.
I don't mind doing it. I'm a deep cleaner. Like, I really like to deep clean stuff.
Yeah,
So
I don't
I'm
like
really,
that.
Christy doesn't like that. But decluttering does feel good. I do like decluttering. Cheryl says, as long as you are both into it, LOL, nothing like your partner watching you clean.
Yeah, so Josh does like sets up TVs, mounts them on the TV, mounts on the wall, does all that stuff.
I'll scrub things too.
Deep
Scrub,
cleans.
wash,
he
vacuum.
Yeah, he's like, we move the bed over. You know, if we move the couch, we need to vacuum it. And I'm like, why do we need to vacuum it if we're just moving the couch back? Okay, like we're
like,
just
no, that's got to be vacuumed.
seeing if something's under there that we need, and then other than that, we move it back. So
I
he
like
likes to deep clean everything, and which is great. So I like to organize, situate, throw away, purge, like all the stuff. So
yeah, so we do have something that we both enjoy of the process, which is super helpful. But so anyway, so let us know if something that you enjoy. Cheryl says, I like a clean, organized environment. Yeah, not everybody cares, right? But let's be honest, do you or don't you? And we want to share with you some reasons of why it will make a difference if you can embrace decluttering in your life. So let's start off with number one. Mm-hmm. Number one, you ready? Number one is it truly brings you inner peace. And I think that it's really important that we understand how valuable it is to have inner peace, right? Like, if we think about everything on the planet, every desire that we have, if it's we wanting more money, or we wanting our kids to be healthy, or we're trying to remove an addiction, or, we're trying all these different things in life, ultimately all we're doing is we're seeking more inner peace. And if we can understand that when we learn how to declutter things in our environment and get more organized, like what Christy was saying, I think we understand that we can agree to understand that will typically bring us more inner peace. And that's actually should be a goal of what we're trying to achieve. That's what's going to move us to the next level. It's going to give us one less thing that we actually have to worry about.
Yeah. And so there is research. I haven't looked up what research it was. Okay, you can do that on your own. But it says, research shows disorganization and clutter have cumulative effects on our brains. Our brains like order, and constant visual reminders of disorganization drain our cognitive resources, reducing our ability to focus. I'm like, ooh, man, I love it. The visual distraction of clutter increases cognitive overload and can reduce our working memory. That's what my problem is. We haven't decluttered in a long time. My memory is just...
Listen, we do it probably twice as often as most people. Okay, let's be honest. So the point is, though, is if you think of people of like a Steve Jobs, right, where he always wore the same outfit every day. So things don't get in the way of cluttering up your mind getting in your way of your thought processes, which is really, really true. And that typically just brings us more inner peace. It gives us more peace. If you didn't have to worry about making your bed every day, or taking out the garbage every day, or vacuuming or sweeping, or getting rid of dog fur off of your... Oh man, I don't even want to go there, but that was a big season of life we were in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was really, really hectic for me. But if these things are something that we typically keep up on, so they're not big projects, we have a lot more inner peace about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to admit, like, us decluttering just today and yesterday, just a few things, like, you feel a lot more peaceful about it.
I feel energized.
You feel like you can go sit in your certain spots and it doesn't bug you, right?
Yeah.
I know, it's amazing, like, actually how that works to me.
It is. Cool. I love it. And it's so funny because it is true. Like, there's been studies done about why Steve Jobs, certain people wear the same thing every day, because your willpower also is expendable resource in that 24 hours. And when you wake up, it starts all over again. Mm-hmm. So if you think about it, if our brains need like a serene or organized, we don't know, like, every time dopamine and serotonin is getting squirted into our brains, by our body. It's a subconscious thing. It's an automatic thing that happens. And so if you get up and you're like, I am going to already know what I'm going to wear for the day, and your home or your car is at least organized, and you know where things are, everything has a place, you actually can last longer throughout the day with patience and decision making and all of those things. There's actually a lot of studies that are done about it. So, and I can't take it. Like, once it gets to the point where I work remote, some days from work, and having, my workspace, where my desk is, to be able to sit there and look around and see like everything in a specific place, everything where it should be, a clean, open environment. It makes a huge difference. Going over into the living room, then being able to sit down, watch TV, relax, and have it be a clean environment makes a difference to me. It stresses me out when I'm sitting there, because a lot of people too, including myself, will be like, why am I sitting here? I need to be doing all those things. Like I should be taking care of this. And then you don't get up and do it, but you're not relaxing either. And it's chaos
I feel
in
that
your
way
head.
about my kitchen because I'm the one that does all the cooking. And so I can't stand dishes just being in the sink.
No, he
like,
can't.
It's
That's true.
it's very nerve wracking. So the point is though, if we declutter and we're truly trying to achieve better inner peace, that's our first reasons why you should do that. So, okay. So number 2 is decluttering actually offers you intentional living. Right? Intentional living means, are we willing to live with less? Are we being intentional with the things that are around us?
Yeah, it's so funny because
Don't skip ahead.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to skip ahead.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, ooh, man, I need to make sure I'm not going to talk about things that
That are ahead.
But yeah, I think it's important for us. It also comes down to like financial responsibilities, is if we're living intentionally and saying, do we really need this? Do we really need, like I haven't talked to him about this yet, but I went through this drawer recently where we probably have 10 to 15 Carhartt hats for winter, and we don't need that many. And just yesterday or the day before, one of our kids went sledding with a bunch of his friends, and he pulls a hat out and had tags on it still. And he had to cut the tag off, to get it on. So do you really need that many hats? Or do you know where everything is? A lot of times we're spending our financial resources on things that we have already. And it's just, we've shoved things in different spots and we don't even know everything that we have. So I think stewardship takes a lot also into your financial stewardship. Like, do you really need more of gadgets or things sitting around your house, like decorations? Like, I've really tried to talk myself down about that, because I'll go to other women's homes and I'll see like these gorgeous decorated living rooms and things like that. And it's like, okay, do I really need to purchase all of that stuff to clutter up my walls and everything? And some people like that, right? But
apparently the people's houses you go to. Sorry if you've never been in your house before.
But we don't have to have that. That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't have to have that, because look at what we just did. We just reorganized and we took a couple things that we had gotten from a garage sale, a couple things that we had hanging on our wall in our dining room, and we're just throwing them away.
Well, yeah, because we've had them for 10 years. I mean, we've had them for a long time.
Yeah.
But the point is, I think, what is important is being good stewards, right, of the things that God has blessed us with, and how we're being good stewards of that. Christy found a bunch of old dog bowls, and I say old, like they're not even that old. Like, we have a ton of dog bowls. Nice, really nice dog bowls. We'll buy one and we'll be like, well, I don't know if she really likes that. It's not up high enough. So instead of being a good steward of that item and giving it or doing something in these natures, we just buy another one. Just buy another one. And all of a sudden now it becomes cluttered. Our area becomes cluttered with stuff. Like, I remember we had bought some stuff for a vision board party. And we had bought some stuff to have a vision board party years back. And we got rid of a couch one time and went to go throw the couch out. And under it was a whole bunch of leftover supplies that had been slid under this couch from years prior. And I'm just like, wow, like, what are we doing? We had vision board parties after that. And did we even look to see if we had extra stuff laying around? No, we just went out and bought more stuff. And I think it's really important that if we're going to be intentional with the way that we live and be responsible with the way that God's asked us to be, we have to be good stewards of that.
I was trying to find where I can see who the comments are. So Miranda is the one that said she has selective memory.
Ooh, Miranda.
Thanks a lot, Miranda. And Jeremy and Jennifer are the ones that are saying, once we start, I love it. But getting started is our problem. It's so funny.
Hey, we get it. We're the same way. I mean, it takes us a little while to get going on some of these things. We'll sit, we'll complain about it. And then all of a sudden it's like, today's the day.
Yeah.
We do that. We get busy like everybody else does, and you get tired. And today
Tomorrow's going to be the day too.
Maybe we have Bible study tomorrow. We have church tomorrow. So
Yeah, that's
we'll
true.
see about that. But I think it's really important if we want to really value, being decluttered, we have to value our stewardship of intentional living with the things that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number three is all about generosity. Like if we think about declutterness, generosity should be attached to that.
It should be. And everyone knows that they should preach at Josh about this, because when I'm decluttering the house, like the dog bowls that he's talking about and stuff, I called our vet and said, hey, will you guys take donations of dog bowls instead of just throwing them away?
I suggested that you called to do
and
that.
I did. And they said, yes, we will. Oh, I was going to take them to the Humane Society. But they said, yes, we would. Or like all of our clothes and stuff, like we could take those things to Goodwill to give them, away, or just ask if somebody would like them. And he just wants to throw stuff away. Coffee cups. I'm like, maybe somebody would want these coffee cups. Like, I don't know. Maybe we could take them to Goodwill. He would prefer to throw everything away. We threw silverware away today, probably enough for a family of 4. There's that much silverware that we just threw away because we bought all new silverware.
It was cheap
and we
silverware.
Just threw it away.
It was like dollar store silverware from like 15 years ago. Okay. So this is the thing, right? So this is just to base my point on generosity. Okay.
Generosity.
We're going to be generosity with not garbage. Okay. And this is my point. Christy found this thing that she had from years ago. It had a bunch of like little peppercorns or something in it. It was decorative pieces.
It was super cute.
Ugly as sin, right? Let's just be honest. It was just ugly. Nobody would want this thing. So Christy's like, oh my gosh, I wonder if anybody would want this. I'm like, you need to throw that out. And she's like, no, I'm going to post it in our growth group.
Posted it in our growth group.
So the very first comment that came across, it says, oh, that's nice. Maybe you guys could save it for your grandkids and they could sell it on Antique Roadshow one day. It's garbage. Okay.
It's super
so if you're going to be
cute.
generous, I'd say make sure that you're generous when you're decluttering with the things that aren't garbage.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Listen, everybody can own a flea market. We don't want to own a flea market.
Somebody might want it.
We're not flea market.
I don't want to keep it, but it is cute. And someone that has maybe an old like farmhouse, something like that, it would make sense in there.
And this is my suggestion. Like if you are that person, don't take each item and sell it for $1 or $2 and then have your poor husband have to drive you to Meijer to meet somebody on Facebook Marketplace that wants something for $2. Okay, I don't. I think you should take a big pile of it, take one picture of it and say free to whoever wants it. I'll sit it on my porch. I think that's being generous.
No, because then you have to give everybody your address.
If we're talking about codes, we're talking about that stuff in a church. Yes.
Like things like that.
We agree on those things. But when we're talking about decluttering, think about how you can be generous with the things. Because I don't know about you guys, but my dad, he has a garage that's bigger than their house, and their house is like 2,400 square feet. His garage is like 3,500 square feet. And he has doubles and triples of everything. And this man is hyper organized, like OCD organized, but he has more than enough stuff. He needs to declutter. Even though it doesn't look like clutter, it's more than enough stuff. There's not, like, we have to be generous with the things that God has blessed us with. There's no reason to hang on to things just to hang on to them.
Amen.
And I know that you agree with that. You're actually really good at that. And I appreciate that. Because you look at me and you're like, I don't think we should have this anymore. I'm like, pitch it. I'm fine with that. Or get rid of it or donate it.
Yeah.
Or
pitch it. That's what he typically says.
Pitch it is usually the thing I'm most comfortable with. Okay.
I
don't want it. I don't want to deal with it anymore.
To the garbage dump.
What was the 20-minute thing you said earlier? You said, "Oh, this is good. This is good."
That's when I wanted to talk about it.
Okay.
Number 4.
So we're going to move on to number 4 then, so my wife can talk about it. Okay. So number 4, our last point, is creating space for things that matter or for what matters. That's a great reason to declutter.
I know. I was hoping Casey was watching. So one of my friends, Casey Cisco, she owns Cisco Salon. Her last name's Fournier, sorry. But I'm just used to calling her Casey Cisco, yeah. But she had told me about a book, and I don't remember the name. I'm gonna have to Google it. If someone wants to Google right now, 1, 2, 3, go. But she said that she read this book that talked about decluttering your life. And one of the things in it that was super powerful to her was if you could replace it for less than $20 in less than 10 minutes, like you could order it online or like run to the store and grab it. It's readily available to you and you haven't touched it in a year or something like that. Throw it away. and it's an easy.
It's worth less than 20. Wasn't that what you said?
Yeah, $20.
Yeah.
Less than $20. You can replace it in less than 10 minutes by like quickly ordering it online or whatever. If you ever need it again, you haven't touched it in a year. And that was just one section of the book to give you a checklist to decide if you should throw
how to purge
away.
things for this whole reason.
That's for cheaper or more inexpensive things. Like if it's less than $20, you shouldn't even be wasting your mental energy on throwing away. Now, things like he just talked about, that was a one of a kind thing that you wouldn't just be able to readily find
again.
The
peppercorn thing?
Yes.
Oh my! I think she got it at the dollar store.
No.
You sure?
Listen to me.
Okay, let's have it. Let's hear. I want to hear it
because that's serious about that, and I ended up throwing away, and I regret it.
Well, go get it.
So that is from my grandparents' old farmhouse. They owned an antique shop.
Okay.
And it's one of the old, so back in the day, they had drawers when they did the newspapers and stuff with actual stamped ink and stuff. They had these drawers they pulled out, and in the drawers there was like the little spaces for the K's and the L's and all the little stamps. Well, a lot of times people took those drawers nowadays and they've created them to where you put them up and you can
like a 3D frame or 3D box.
Yeah. And so it was a little small version of that. And it had a glass front on it, and it had a little teapot in one section. It was for a kitchen decoration. It had like not mustard seeds, but like little pepper seeds in
like
one.
Peppercorns, what it looked
then
like.
They had, like little peppers in the bottom. And then they had a super tiny little china, like for a dollhouse saucer and like teacup. It was super cute. And I think if someone had an old farmhouse, it just doesn't fit in our house anymore. And so, but I'm just sad that I got rid of it.
You didn't have to get rid of it. You didn't say that this thing had sentimental value. And that's another thing too, right? It's easy for us to hang on to things if we keep thinking, like her dad passed away a few years back and we had a bunch of bowling balls just sitting in our garage. And that's great. Like, that's awesome. Like, but are we going to hang bowling balls up on our wall? Like, we have to kind of think through some of these things. Like, are we going to just keep collecting things as people pass away and just keep surrounding ourselves with them? Or are we going to declutter and try and make space for things that matter, today? And so I think you have to make a decision on some of that stuff too. It's really important, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's true.
It is true.
She just pans the stuff off to her sister. She's like, you know what?
No, I don't.
Dad would want you to have these bowling balls.
Don't. I asked her if she wanted the bowling balls. She said yes. And now Garrett wants them. So now
Garrett would like to have them.
She's going to give them to Garrett.
But they're not here. So we decluttered in a very healthy way.
She's bringing them at Graydon's birthday.
But we didn't throw them away, which is nice. So we created a new space.
That was generosity.
We created a space for what truly matters, right? And so we have a front room that's a living room, and then we have a main room, which is like our family room. And so the front room we would use for random things. We have a TV out there. We used to have a sofa out there where like the kids would go out and watch TV years ago and things like that. And it's always
then we had our dining room table out there for a little bit.
Yeah, so we've kind of shifted around, but we've decided, since we're not going to be
is important,
going to the gym, that we were going to bring the gym into our home. And we made this decision actually a year ago. And at that time we had ordered a new treadmill and a new elliptical. And over the last year, we've gotten way better at being faithful about using this equipment. We haven't been bad about it all year, but we've gotten way better
over the last 3 months. I would say yes.
Yeah, hardcore over the last 3 months, really. So we made a decision to get a matching piece of equipment for weight training in this area. So now we've turned this entire area into like our fitness area is what we've done. And so we've been very intentional about in that room, and we've purged a lot of things out of that room to be very intentional with that area and what matters. I mean, we actually, so much that we got rid of our dining room table. We don't even have one anymore.
That's what I was going to talk about. So we did end up getting rid of our dining room table because, the majority of our kids, 2 of the 4 of our kids have moved out. One of them is away at college the majority of the time, and the other one's getting ready to go to college in a few months. So it's like we're going to be almost empty nesters, except for when they come home on weekends and things. But the amount of times that we sit at our dining room table is like once or twice a year, maybe. Yep. On someone's birthday, everybody might come over and we have the person sit there while we sing them happy birthday. But we could do that out in the living room with TV trays, which is what we normally do. Yep. And so it's like, why are we taking up this whole space in our house for this dining room table that we never use? Our family just doesn't use it anymore.
And even like Thanksgiving and Christmas, we would set up long tables.
We have
to
long
eat on.
folding tables.
Yeah,
we
so
don't
it's
even use
just-
that table.
Yeah, we wouldn't even use that table for anything.
We wouldn't. And so we moved because in that front room, we had our elliptical and our treadmill, and then we had our desks for our office space. Because this room, we
'Cause it's
call it the office, but we use it just for our podcast, really.
Yeah, the room we're in now.
Yeah, the room we're in now. So our office spaces with our actual working desks were out in that room. Well, we turned where the dining room table was into a little office nook. So we moved our desks out there, pitched the dining room table, got our strength training thing. So that whole room is good. We're going to gradually turn it into a mini gym, get some free weights. And
I mean, that's
like
really
that.
the only thing that's missing is free weights.
Well, we need to get our sauna and we need to get our ice bath.
But we're not putting it in that room.
No.
Right. So that's not that room. But we're being, when we declutter, we're like, okay, we're going to be intentional with this room like we did with our table. We decided to get rid of our dining room table in our dining room and say, we're going to use this dining room now as our office area. We moved 2 desks out there. We moved a television out there. We moved a TV stand out there. We moved the printer in there. We got very, very intentional, and those rooms feel very comfortable now.
Mm-hmm.
They're very intentional. And so we have to remind ourselves when we're decluttering that we are being intentional in creating spaces that actually do matter. We're not just hanging clothes on our treadmill and we're not treating our spaces like that.
No. And you do have to remember, decluttering doesn't just mean things too. Decluttering could be decluttering your mind. Like, what are some things that you're worried about? I mean, we focused this episode on how you can declutter your house and your car, to the physical things, but you can apply this to so many things. Like, you want to have inner peace. What are some things that you can grow yourself to declutter your mind in certain areas? Are you hanging out with groups of people or even 1 or 2 people that are constantly negative, dragging you down, doing those things? It's time to declutter your friends, that you have around you, or your circle of influence, that you have. We have to take these things seriously. Declutter the movies you watch, declutter the music you listen to, declutter. And you can't do it all at once because you'll combust. But I think if you gradually do this in your life a little bit at a time, especially be easy on yourself, because when it comes to things, like Josh was saying in our house, we'll do this. Our garage was beautiful, pristine
last year.
And now it's over time, it's just it's not as bad as it was to begin with, but it's already gotten cluttered again. Mm-hmm. So it's you do have to, it's a continuous process.
Yeah. And
you have to do.
And don't beat yourselves up over this process either. Decluttering is something that we have to continuously do. Yeah. It's not like we're going to declutter and have an expectation that there's going to be no more clutter anymore.
Right.
No. The idea is to not allow that clutter to keep building up and removing the piece that we have and trying to deduct from the things that we're trying to do and move forward with whatever it is in our lives, because we're trying to make forward movement in our life, right? Our podcast talks about, taking your faith, your family, and your future to the next level. And how do we do that? There's things that we have to be willing to do, and decluttering is a major part of that. And we have to tell ourselves that, hey, this isn't a perfect thing. It's a process. And how are we willing to do that? Yeah. Are we willing to declutter the people, the movies, the things that we watch, things we listen to?
Declutter the fat off my body.
Declutter the fat from your body, right? Throw it all away, right? Start over. But it's a process. So declutter for a better life. So we hope and pray that this episode was some type of impact for you or helpful. If it was, please share,
poke at each other a lot this time.
Yeah, it was a little more fun this time. We were a little goofy on this
one. It's okay. We can have fun sometimes.
So we want to thank you so much for being here. We want to encourage you to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done that yet. We really appreciate that. If you haven't had a chance yet, you can go on Apple Podcasts and rate and review our podcast. We really would appreciate that. I think we have over 200 episodes now, so we'd really appreciate that. I know we have a lot.
We have a lot to say.
All the time.
No, seriously, though, with that being said, I really want you guys to share. We've had people over the years reach out to us and say, hey, could you do an episode on this? Or could you do an episode on that? And we do them because it's fun. And we're like, oh, we haven't thought about that. And so we'll do research on it. And then we'll say, okay, well, this is our take on it. What's your take? Like decluttering, we have different ways that we want to declutter our house, and some people may think it's blasphemy to not have a dining room table. That's up to you, but we would love to hear what you do to declutter your house, how you guys organize, how you guys do those things. It's so much, to me, that's so much fun. Like
She's stoked about it.
I
It's her
am.
favorite episode all year.
I am. I want to hear about it because I want to see, share videos. Like, I want to see what you do. Like,
She will judge the heck out of your house. She'll be like, this needs to go. I'll help you. Throw it all away. No, that would probably be me. So we want to thank you guys so much for being here. We're here every single Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.